We have identity, Bitcoin, quantum risk. Governments are rebuilding who you are. And then we have institutions are pulling capital, and security companies are monetizing the next fear cycle. This is not just price. This is power, control, and infrastructure. Let's dive in. So diving right into it, we're going to be talking about blockchain identity. Is it empowerment or surveillance? And we're seeing a global race to digitize identity. So taking a look here at this article, we have China, National Network Identity Authentication. And what they're saying here is centralized digital entities create single points of failure. This is huge. Governments are quietly racing to redefine identity documents for the digital era. And that may mean what we've heard. Voter IDs. That may mean storing medical insurance documents or trust or deeds, anything that encompasses information that needs to be not only digitized, but authenticated is going to be big. So what does this all mean? So we have a ton of different countries just wanting to get ahead of the curve. That's all they're wanting to do. Everyone wants to get ahead of the curve and no one wants to be left behind. And so we talk about digital identity around the world. See here, countries that have implemented national digital identity systems reveal both the benefits and the risks associated with them. And the best thing about all this information is that blockchain solves it all. Here we have decentralized identity as the way forward. And really this will be, there's not one centralized entity that can alter it or change it. Once it's there, it's there. So I love that. And we see here Amazon Web Services outage that halted Coinbase, Robinhood, and MetaMask brought the issue of centralized servers to the surface. This is why you want this information on decentralized blockchain. So why are we talking about this? Everyone wants to know. Is because you're going to see as the months come, as the years come, why crypto and why blockchain is so important. Centralized systems equal scalable surveillance, right? That's not text. What they're saying here is it's a controlled design. Whereas if you have decentralization, you control your information. Other people don't. You control it. You can update it. And if you don't update it, it doesn't get updated. It stays stored on the blockchain. So I think, and the reason why we pulled this article is because I think that when you look at what crypto is doing and you look at, how does this play out? What does this mean for me on a day to day? This means all the information that is typically public and can be altered and can be changed. And you talk about fraud and it can be misused. The blockchain changes that. So that's why we really wanted to really have this conversation when it comes to blockchain-based identity, because the blockchain gives the power back to the people. And so now it's just a matter of the countries that want to adopt this tech. It's a matter of, do they do it the centralized way, or do they do this the decentralized way where the people control their information? So we'll keep you updated on that. Definitely thought this was an interesting topic to discuss. Next up, we have Bitcoin ETFs bleed 410 million as Standard Chartered slashes Bitcoin target. So what does this mean? Fourth straight week of losses likely. And we see about 410.4 million daily outflows for the fourth straight week. Weekly losses about 375.1 million. Assets under management down $80 billion. Meanwhile, the peak was 170 billion. So a lot of market uncertainty, a ton of market uncertainty. We have ETH downside predictions. And then we have also Bitcoin year-end targets as well coming out all over the place. You've heard it. We've heard it. We've heard the writing on the wall. We've seen these numbers. And I think one thing we can look at things like this is we have discounted crypto. Bitcoin is at a discount. Ethereum's at a discount. XRP, Solana's at a discount. Solana's at under $90 right now. Solana, which it was once said to go to at least $750 to $1,000. You've heard time and time again those price predictions. Now, extreme bear phase not yet here. Analysts expect a $55,000 bottom. That's what they're expecting. We're going to take a look here at the charts and see what is going on. As we look here, we see Bitcoin coiling back, really staying within range. We go to the daily time frame and see what is going on here. We see we did not make a new low yet. We didn't make a new low. We made a pretty much a low. It's not a lower low or a lower high. Lower high is right here. Would be considered this area. But when we came down here, we did not make a new low. A new low would be us clearing this level. So still uncertainty. We want to see a breakout either here or a breakout below, and we can clear that up so you guys can see where the breakouts need to be. So I'll mark this area for you guys just to note. This is the daily time frame, so this may take some time. Need a breakout of these levels. And so I'll remove this one. This is the range. It's pretty big. I need a breakout above, close above 72,000. Need 72,000 or below 59,000. Pretty broad range, but this is really the level that we are paying attention to. And if you want to change that a little bit, you can move another level of support right here. So you can see a new low is being made, heading towards the lower low to kind of close that gap a little bit. So 65,000 break or 72,000 break. So that's the level and the range that we're looking at when we take a look at these market conditions, but also take a look at basic price action. So we scroll here and we look at a ton of analysts giving their predictions, right? We have crypto analytics platforms as well, reiterating that price supports remains around 55,000 and has not been tested yet. That's what they're saying. Extreme bear phase not yet here, as analysts expect that $55,000 bottom. That's what they're calling for, right? But typically when we've seen price points and targets be called prematurely without levels being broken, we have seen for the most part that the bottom's not in. You know, right now, historically, it's about 30-40% from the high. So we don't see a lot of price predictions, whether it's the high or the bottom, really play out. So I want to be clear with that, and that's okay, right? We're trying to predict these markets, but that's why we like to lean on levels being broken, and kind of puts us in an if-then scenario, because you'll have a higher probability setup if certain levels are broken. So very excited to see how Bitcoin plays out for sure. Next up, we have the talk about quantum, our quantum proof Bitcoin wallets, insurance, or fear tax. So why is this important? This is important because as we talk about Bitcoin, as we talk about Bitcoin being digital gold, quantum computing is being talked about in the industry, which is bringing a lot of uncertainty as well. So the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology finalized its post-quantum cryptography standards in 2024, calling for migrations before 2030. And here they're saying that there is a potential threat towards Bitcoin. And here he's saying, I do feel that this is a bit of a fear tax. We know that quantum computers are far away, still 5 to 15 years away, right? And I think when people give out those numbers, they say, oh, this is far, far, far away. They said the same thing about self-driving cars. Then I go to San Francisco and I see self-driving cars. Not only just self-driving cars driving people. All right. So they say, oh, it's about 10, 15 years away. I don't know. Technology typically moves a lot faster than people think. Quantum risk is not zero and it's not sudden. Here in this article, they're saying quantum vulnerability, often discussed, is Bitcoin's elliptic curve digital signature algorithm, which authorizes transactions. So they're saying here, in theory, a powerful quantum computer could derive a private key from an exposed public key and claim the coin sitting in an address. This is where this matters. All right. This is where this matters. And this is what's not being talked about enough. So today's quantum hardware isn't capable of breaking the elliptic curve signatures, but that doesn't mean threat actors are waiting around for a technical breakthrough. And here they're saying many users expect a single Q day in the future when cryptography suddenly fails. In reality, risk accumulates gradually and cryptographic assumptions weaken and exposures increase. So they're ready for it and they're waiting for it. It's pretty much saying that there's going to be quantum computers that are going to be able to essentially just get Bitcoin wallet addresses, get the private keys, and wipe out accounts. So it's what they're saying. We've been talking about quantum a little bit for this month. I'm seeing it more and more, especially as Bitcoin appreciates in price. I've been seeing it talked about more and more as the price targets for Bitcoin and the value of Bitcoin is being confirmed. So here, Trezor made a comment. November 2025. You guys don't know Trezor. Trezor's a leading wallet, Bitcoin wallet, or crypto wallet, I should say, not just Bitcoin platform. And they also offer wallets to everyone. Here they're saying both blockchains and wallets will eventually need to adopt post-quantum cryptography. Co-signing that this is going to be something to look out for. Updating the blockchains will require a long collaborative effort among global communities and developers, while wallets' internal operations can already be updated now. Here they're saying at Trezor, we focus on what we can control, the security of the device itself. That is what Trezor Safe 7 was built from the ground up with post-quantum protection. So we see companies taking steps already and not just ignoring this, because I get this is kind of like high level when it comes to talking about security of crypto and the quantum aspect. Pretty much there's going to be a computer that is going to be able to break in to Bitcoin wallets, or honestly more so into your Bitcoin address, and then access your private key. And when they have your private key, they can wipe you out. You guys know this. Trezor's taking steps already. Shout out to Trezor for taking the right steps to make sure that we remain safe. So I'm still gonna be talking about quantum because I definitely think it's valuable, and I think it's gonna be one of those things where it's gonna take a big wipeout for people to actually take it seriously. So we'll continue to cover that, and hearing a lot of talk about the top was in. Taking a look here at the charts, going to the weekly time frame, pretty much saying that was the top. This is it, guys. I don't see it. I don't see it. And I've read the waves. I've read your guys' comments, and we've gotten the messages about us saying that a super cycle is in. From my experience, being in crypto since 2017, typically when people say the top is in, or that was the top, 9 times out of 10, that was not the top. 9 times out of 10, that was just the beginning. We've seen it time and time again. So the fact that people are calling 120K the top, this was the top, 126K, calling that the top, I don't think so. We'll see, and time will tell. But pullbacks like this are normal. I want to say that too. Pullbacks like this are not something, or it's not like taboo. It's not like random that, oh my goodness, we got a pullback. It's not. We've seen this before. Pullbacks happen, and we believe crypto is being stress tested every layer. So we have, the quantum side. We have identity, capital, right? Everything's being tested right now. This is more so for us, structural maturity under pressure. Nothing that we're worried about, or because we're in crypto long term. We have Cardano making waves. We have HBAR making waves, right? We have Ethereum and even Bitcoin, right, being adopted. This isn't the time to worry about a bottom. This is the time to accumulate, because there's going to be a point in time where you're not going to be able to accumulate anymore. Hope you guys got some value out of this video. Keep moving forward in everything that you do. See you soon.